Question of the week is an opportunity for our Spotlight viewers and listeners to submit questions about your relationship, or you can ask about our relationship. I did see a question in the bunch about us, and I said I'll pick that like next week. It's a good one, y'all, so be ready. But this week was a good one. I wanted to try to help this person out with some advice. Spotlight question of the week, by the way, is sponsored by Umbrella Therapeutic Services. Umbrella Therapeutic Services is DC's most reliable and trusted behavioral health organization. They provide community support, medication management, therapy for individuals and groups. They accept Medicaid, Medicare, private health insurance programs. If you are a DC resident, you can use their services if you're between the ages of 5 and 100. Umbrella Therapeutic Services is on Instagram, as well as they have a website now, www.umbrellatherapeuticsservices.com. And shout out to CEO Wes Jones, still expanding that company. Really, really proud of you, Wes, doing boss things.
Doing some really boss things. I mean,
Yeah.
this guy, I can't say enough about Wes. He
Yeah.
just stays in the trenches, and he's doing some amazing things. So make sure you hit up Umbrella Therapeutic Services. It's a DC service, so
Yes,
if you're in
it
DC,
is.
make sure you look them up.
Mental health. May is Mental Health Month, you all.
Yes.
May is right around the corner, so take your mental health seriously.
That's one thing I love to drive home. Please do not, because it's so much pressure. Sometimes when you not in the same position as other people, you don't realize their position. And so a lot of people are really hurting right now. They've lost jobs. They haven't been able to collect unemployment. It's a lot of different, scenarios.
Yeah.
So please keep it together. If you feel like you're not all the way there, just please go get you a mental tune-up. Don't feel like it's not appropriate for you. It is. We all sometimes need that tune-up. And you go there and it's discreet. You can go there and get you some help. And next thing you know, you'll be right back on top. So
That's
how about
right.
that?
How about that? All right, so this question of the week is from a young lady. And here
Uh-oh,
goes.
y'all. Brace yourself. Y'all
Here
listen
goes.
up. Here we go.
I need help determining what defines date rape. I'm dating someone now who used to be a professional athlete. Lots of people know him. Lots of women still adore him, so he is accustomed to getting his way. He has been very good to me thus far, but the other night when I was at his house, he wanted to have sex, but I was experiencing something weird down there and I didn't want to do it. So I told him no. I had never told him no to sex before, so he thought I was joking. I didn't want to tell him that I thought I had an infection or whatever. I just simply wanted to say no. And I kept saying no firmly, and he kept trying me. He eventually forcefully bent me over, pulled my panties down, and he did it to me anyway. At that point, I didn't bother to fight him anymore. He is way physically stronger than me anyway. I feel a way about him now, though. Doesn't no mean no, even if you're in a relationship? I shouldn't have to have told him why. I just told him no. Why was my personal business, but I said no repeatedly and he strong-armed me. Is that date rape? Because he is my boyfriend. I don't know about moving forward in a serious relationship with him anymore. Damn.
This is a tough situation. This is a really tough situation. So, is it date rape?
Is that date rape?
Is it date rape? That's a great. It depends.
Or is it any kind of rape?
If a woman is denying you and you're being aggressive and pursuing it, then you're pretty much taking over the situation, which is against their will, which is rape. The tricky part about it is actually your boyfriend, and you've already had
We've had relationship right.
with this person, and you're involved. So I've almost been here before in my past. So what happened was we were drinking, and that situation occurred. We was already, having a situation prior to, and she didn't want to at that time, but we had already got halfway down the road. And so I just had to restrain. So you do have to have restraint and say, if a person is saying no, you just have to really take heed and say, okay, you know what? I'm hands off.
No
I mean,
means no, y'all.
really, you have to get up. I don't care if you butterball naked. I don't care what the situation is. You really have to get up. You have to say, okay, cool, and respect the wishes. Don't press forward thinking they mean yes when they saying no.
No.
They really have to say yes
Right.
or insinuate that yes is the answer. If they saying no, I think that you should listen to this young lady.
I feel for
But
this young
now
lady
for the
because
young
I've
lady,
been
though.
in this situation before in my past dating life.
So I want you to address this real quick. But before I toss it over to you, I want to say I think that the young lady should have a conversation, though, with this young man, and don't just let it go. You should talk to this young man and find out where his head is, and let him know where you are and how you stand on it, and be a communicator. Tell the person, right? Nah. And even when it got to that, you should have actually said no. I mean no, and I'm gonna take it further if you do this because I feel uncomfortable. So you really have to stand on it.
It's tough, and so as a woman who has been in a very, very similar situation like that, I was, I don't know how old this young lady is, but I was in my young 30s and very similar situation. And I said no. But I was already involved with this person. We had already done it before. So, when I come over, that's what he probably thinking. But at this moment, I was just like, no, I had other issues going on too. And I was just like, no. He was like, whatever. And I was like, I'm serious. Like, no. And the same thing happened to me, young lady. And because I'm passive aggressive, I was just like, whatever, forget it. But I felt violated because I said no. And like, don't grab my arm so hard and tightly where I can't do nothing. That's like violation. And so at that point, because you're already in something with this person, you're just like, okay, whatever. But
So you felt like because you had already been with that person, then I'm going to just let it go.
I'm voluntarily going over there. I'm voluntarily going over there to spend the night because I've spent the night before. But on this particular night, I did not want to have sex. And I have a right to be like, I don't want to.
Now, wait.
I didn't say I'm coming over there to do it.
Let me just put this disclaimer out there. Sisters, don't put yourself in a trick bag. Men have intentions a lot. If you're dating a man, know the man. Know his intentions. Be clear about it before you go over there with your little Louis overnight bag, and then all of a sudden you start feeling away, talking about nah, y'all been kissing, slobbing, and eating lobster, and now the next thing you know, 2-3 drinks later, you in denial. That's a trick bag. Don't even do it. Go out to dinner if you don't have a plan to hump on that man, and just eat dinner and say, I'm going to take it on in now. I'm not going to come to your house and get naked with you, young man.
That's
because
when
I'm
you're
not in a
newly
position
dating
to sleep with you tonight.
Right.
And I don't want to do that.
I
You
agree.
should have the right to say no regardless.
That's when
But just know who you dating. And if you feel an inkling of this person's flipping or going the wrong way with you, believe what they say when people say that's who they are. But please believe them.
Right,
So
but
it's
what
tough.
if you don't again, this young lady said he's been good to her thus far. This is probably something that caught her off guard, like as it did me. Like, you don't expect for that to happen. And you like, damn. And then afterwards, you like looking at the person like,
So
for real?
so can I speak from the man's
For me, well, let me
standpoint?
just finish. For me, because I'm passive aggressive, the way I handled my situation at that time, young lady, is I just cut the person off. They didn't even know why. And I just didn't give them any explanation because I think a man, when you say no and I say no like 18 times and you got to grab my arm so tightly where you got to force me to do something, that's inappropriate. So don't ask me why I'm never going to talk to you again. That's how I handled it. It's not the right way to handle things because that's poor communication.
It's passive.
But I still think that when you see a sign like that, it's what kind of conversation do you want to have? Oh, you already saw what type of person
No,
that
you
this
have a
is.
real conversation. This is what this young lady needs to do. This is my point. See, if not for you, for the next woman. See, you have to make it clear to a man. See, sometimes men's intentions is jaded. They just have they don't see nothing else. If you've already been sleeping with this young lady, you would not normally think she's going to come over your house, get naked, and say no. You're just not going to see that coming. So when it happens, it's a shock to your system, and you have to make a grown man adjustment. Some young men don't have that grown man in the moment adjustment. If 2-3 drinks then kicked in, now he like, I don't know if you really mean nah, because you already been getting it on. This is what I mean by sisters, don't put yourself in a trick bag. Understand the position that you're putting a person in, and if you see it going down that road and you don't have that intent, back away. Back away before you totally get there. I want to hear what Jeff has to say. We got an audience member. I want to hear your opinion on this because I think you had something to add.
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, yeah. So this actually happened recently with my lady. She's here, and so I was going out of town, for 4 days, and I'm like, okay, I need something to
A refill.
over. And she said no, and I had to in that moment take myself out of it and think about her. She was
Right.
tired, she wasn't really feeling good and stuff like that, and I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do the grown man thing and just, I'm gonna let her go to sleep. I'm gonna hold her, and that's pretty much what I did, man. I held her until she went to sleep, and then we got up at 3:00 in the morning to get me to my flight. That was it. So just respect.
Kudos
it.
to you.
But respect. That's
Yeah,
much
absolutely.
respect to that. Because that's what I mean. every man doesn't have that restraint. It took restraint for you to say, okay, all right, shit.
Right.
So we're not gonna do no humping. So okay, I'm gonna just cuddle and just lay up under you and imagine that we was doing it, but I'm not gonna do it. And so at the end of the day, these things happen in real life, and you have to be the grown-up man and say, I'm a man, and I have to say, it may not happen tonight. It doesn't mean never. It just means tonight. So just kill it. When they say no, kill it.
Do you remember that time? Stan and I used to date long distance for a while, and he would come up and visit me once a month, or I would go down there, right? Do you remember that time you came up to visit? And y'all know I'm full disclosure. I had just had like a wax or something like that, and I was like, no, babe, I can't do it today. And you was like,
yeah,
what?
I was livid.
You was mad.
See, yeah, so this is what I mean.
And you had come all the way up there.
Yeah.
And I was like, we can't.
And I'm like, wow, what's going on?
But you didn't force it, but you were pissed.
Yeah, well, because I come long distance and that wasn't no disclaimer prior to. I'm thinking we get ready whoop-de-whoop. And I come up here and then you hit me with the, yeah. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
And so, but I'm not going to jump on you and try to beat you in the head.
You didn't. After you were mad, you eventually, we went out to dinner and we eventually enjoyed ourselves. We've learned over the years anyway to enjoy each other's company with just spooning. I love a good spoon.
Yeah, so. But for those people who are younger or even older and don't have that restraint, when that young lady says, I know it may not even feel like a no in your head, but if she telling you no, I promise you it could be a lot more trouble on the other side of that fence.
No means no.
If you go through with it, you might have a lot of regrets.
Dr. Neverson is on here. She says men need to be responsible and have self-control. No means no. Eddie Hawkins said Stan is trying to give a different perspective, which is real, but no still means absolutely no.
Yeah, that's true. If she says, that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, if the sister's telling you no, don't try to figure out why. Don't get to begging her what's wrong. Don't try to pull her panties down or none of that and pursue and think she's going to change her mind. Just give it up. Sometimes you have to be in a safe spot and say, okay, I respect your wishes. It's just respecting her wishes.
Right. Let's see. What is someone... Oops. Sorry, y'all. I was trying to read a comment. Rape is rape. Any form of force, especially when they are not married yet. And that's very true. So
what happens when you're married and your spouse still hits you with the not tonight, and you like, come on, and you like a bag of rocks, and she like, so now what's the difference? It's still no. So now what we do now? We just say, nah, we married. It's still no though, right?
It's no. It's no. Do men get raped? Like, do men ever say no and a woman just take it?
I be hoping you rape me. Like, I ain't gonna press you all the time. Rape me, do what you gotta do.
I was wondering, like, do men get raped?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just
I don't know, do they?
Yeah, just force my clothes off. Just go wild. I ain't gonna tell nobody. I ain't gonna say nothing.
Hey, Jeff, you watching? Have you ever been raped before, violated as men? Has a man?
Who are you talking to?
Jeff on here.
Oh, I'm like, what? Wait a minute. Why are you harassing Jeff about he been raped? Well, wait, back it up. Come back to the show.
Jeff,
bring it back to here. Okay, Jeff. Why would Jeff get on here and tell you he was raped?
I don't know. I'm just asking any of the men listening. Is that real?
So, and it does happen. So even for me, I was 10 and 11 years old.
No, I'm talking men, grown men.
I said I was a man. I was a young man. I was being molested by older women. And so what happens is it turns you a different way. You get more. You're not supposed to know that level of sex at that age. You're not mature enough to handle what comes with it. So you become promiscuous and this and that. And that's why I was loving women and all this craziness that I went through for so long. That's what happens. So, or it could go worse. But I mean, I do thank God it was a female rather than a male. Not to disrespect other people's situations, but that was mine. And so I didn't realize it was molestation because I was a young man and I was thinking it was cool.
Right.
Like I thought, okay, this is cool right here. She's older and she's trying to whoop-de-whoop. And I'm like, yeah, all right. And so then when you get older, you be like, wow, she was molesting me. And so, yeah. So yes, it happens. I believe that it happens with older men. If you fly enough and cool enough, and if it's that good, and she really want it, she might want to try to bust in the head and take it from you. Like not bust in the head literally, but like yeah. And so what do you do as a man? Like, nah, you raping me. What do you do?
There've been like one or two times where you've told me no, I could have just taken it.
You should have. That's
violated you.
That's violate me. That's what you do.
All right, listen, well.